Hola, mi gente. Aquí su servidor SoCal Crazy. Please join me on this amazing podcast that's Drinking at Mo's. Please, I miss you guys. I wish you guys the best. If you can, tune in. I'll give you guys an update on the whole cancer run. But more importantly, I'm using this platform, my friend Mo's platform, to tell you guys that I miss you and I have you guys in my heart. And thank you guys for the best wishes. But please tune in. Drinking at Mo's, buddy.
This is Drinkin at Demos, where we talk about the pros of pro wrestling in the Midwest while sipping on some brews with blessed beers and wrestling. That's my scene. Death matches and lucha libre, it's all so mean. I'm a straight up smart goofball, not no kiss ass. I stand tall when it comes to wrestling. I'm the king. I know every move, every fling. Get ready for a wild time with Drinkin at Mo's, where we don't quit. Drinkin at Mo's, that's where it's at, like a power bomb. We hit hard, never flat. Fucking right, we're living the dream. Talking about wrestling, know it's a scream.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkinatmos be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're finishing filling out your order, use the code Drinking at Mo's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, I got the button all right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Drinking at Mo's, Big Mo here. You know the drill by now. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff, because that YouTube algorithm is a pain in the ass for most places you can find audio podcasts too. Today, I am very excited to have with me somebody that, hell, probably tied for the most time they've been on the podcast. Mi hermanos, my friend, SoCal Crazy. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, my man Mo, it's so good to see you. Everybody listening out there is so good to welcome everybody and to say hi to everybody. I've missed everybody. It's rough when you're not participating in the scene. So, but I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I can't complain, Mo. Me and you talk every day, so it's awesome for me to be back on the podcast, and I feel good. I mean, other than 24/7 nausea with the chemotherapy, but other than that, I'm in good spirits. Mentally I'm good, physically I'm getting there. So, and I have a lot of good backup. So we're doing okay, Mo. We're doing good.
Oh yeah, no, that definitely helps both the mindset and having people there behind you, because I mean, I don't know specifically what going through all that is like, but I can imagine having a good mindset and those people behind you definitely helps.
Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, what's helping me is the wrestler's mentality. You know what I mean? Because you know, you know, luckily I'm still able to go down to SoCal Pro and teach every now and then. And that's keeping me sane,
Yeah.
honestly. If I didn't have wrestling in my life, I'd probably be going nuts right now.
Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah, you're not able to be in there as much as you might like to, but you're still involved in the whole process, so it's not like you're not there at all.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And it's great. Like I said, it's keeping me mentally good, mentally fit. I love teaching the kids. I think I found a good niche to teach, to become a teacher, hopefully in the future after this whole wrestling career is over. But it's great, man. I just the satisfaction that you get, like when you're in there teaching new kids, teaching them like all the stuff, the cool stuff about our great sport. It's just an amazing feeling. And then honestly, that's been helping me out a lot, though. Obviously, going through colon cancer and all that, it's been rough. I'm not gonna lie, it's been rough. It's taken its toll on me physically, mentally, emotionally. But at the same time, like I said, if it wasn't for wrestling and training and SoCal Pro and that, man, I would be lost.
I can only imagine, and being in with the training, I can only imagine how it feels when somebody that you're coaching, like that moment that you realize that they get it. Like
Yeah,
whatever you're teaching, they're getting it.
right.
That's
Oh,
got to be
yeah.
something amazing.
And that's honestly, Mo, that's probably one of the best feelings in the world, other than, being complimented by a company giving you a title or
Oh,
rewarding you with a title, right? One of the best satisfactions is actually seeing young students get it. And then the cool thing about it, though, Mo, the cool thing that I really, really enjoy is that smile that they get
mm,
when they think, oh, no, I can't do that. And then when they do it and they
oh
accomplish
yeah.
it and they do it well, it's like, I don't know. It's just so hard to explain that emotion that they
Mm,
give out, man. It's just so infecting.
oh yeah. I know when I've accomplished things that hell I didn't even think I could do, and the moment I do, I can the look I can imagine I have on my face. I could just imagine the very similar to what those guys get.
Yeah, yeah. It's great. And you know what? And sometimes it's a little frustrating. Well, not frustrating, but I think sometimes I get a little jealous because it took me a very long time to get this sport. Unfortunately, it didn't click with me right away. But some of these kids nowadays, Mo, oh my God, they're like 450s like nothing. It's like, oh my God, what are you guys drinking? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm like, whatever the heck you're on, I want some of it.
You're right. Yeah, yeah. But you know what? It's awesome. Again, it's awesome because, even though they're able to pull maneuvers like that and stuff, they're still coachable. They're not like egotistical. They're not like, oh, I can do this now. Like, I don't need it. No, no, no. They're very level-headed, cool. I have a really, really great group of kids down at SoCal Pro right now.
Oh yeah, the SoCal Pro School has hell. It's been known for churning out some great people that I've enjoyed. Like, yeah, I don't get to enjoy the product like I did when I was down there,
Right.
but I still enjoy, seeing everything happening on social media and catching the shows when they're streaming when I can.
Right. Yeah.
And it's hell, the San Diego area, I ever since I left, I've always considered it like a second home. And, seeing, people from down there getting to shine the way they do. And then, man, as of recording this, man, last night made me happy. There's a non wrestling related thing here for a second, but man, I went to sleep happy last night.
I think we all did last night.
Oh man, our Padres moved on to the division series, and man, they scared me for a little bit.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, how great is October baseball, Mo? Like,
Oh
how
man,
great is that? You know, I mean, obviously the season. I'm a big baseball fan. Other than wrestling, baseball is another passion of mine. And man, I was biting my nails last night, just thinking, man, we got to pull this through. We got to pull this through, and eventually we did, man. Like,
yeah.
what that rookie Merrill? My
Mm.
God, that guy's insane.
Oh god, like I know the Padres have had their issues in the past with pitching, but the pitching during that wild card series, holy crap! If
Yeah.
they can pitch like that for the rest of the postseason, they are going to be hard to put up with.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I really think that we have a really good shot of winning the entire thing this year. I mean, our roster is stacked. We have a lot of good hitters. You mentioned it. Our pitching rotation is amazing. Cease, King, Musgrove, all those. Oh my God, man.
Darvish.
Darvish, yeah, we got a really good rotation. But we got the Dodgers next round. That's
It-
not gonna be easy.
oh,
Otani's a beast.
oh God, yeah. Although my wife was actually, we had this conversation last night actually after the game, that I remembered when the Padres made it to the National League Championship a couple of years ago, they had to get through the Dodgers to get there.
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah,
it's been done before.
yes.
They can do it again. Although I found it funny because that same season it was, yeah, the Dodgers to get there, but then another team that they had to go through that they didn't end up beating is also still alive in the Phillies. So I'm like, oh God, don't
Yeah,
do that to me.
yeah. You know what, obviously I was over joyful last night, but one another big surprise that I loved was Detroit eliminating Houston. I
Oh
am
yeah.
sick and tired of seeing Houston in the series. Like, I'm so glad Detroit got rid of them.
Oh man, and hell, who would have thought Detroit in the
Right?
postseason when the whole season started?
Right,
And
and exactly. And Detroit during the season, Detroit was horrible. And it's like, and the same thing with our team, Padres. We were bad in the beginning, the first half of the season. And then after the All-Star break, it's like Detroit and San Diego just decided, okay, let's just turn it up.
oh yeah, and man, and well, hell, yeah, my team, the Padres, but also another team that's still alive that's a little bit closer to me in the Kansas City Royals. They're still in it too.
Yeah,
Which I
yeah.
mean, hell, they kind of squeaked it out, but hell, they still did it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's great. I mean, obviously, I hope that the Padres beat the Dodgers and we advance because, nothing against the Dodgers, obviously a great team. I have a lot of friends that are Dodger fans. But I feel like if we eliminate them out of the playoffs, it's going to be a brand new playoff tree, like teams that have never been there before or that have struggled to get there, you know? It's just for me, like when it comes to championship series, like I'm always rooting for the underdog,
No,
because obviously that's in wrestling. I'm always the underdog, so I'm always rooting for the underdog, and to me, it's like cool. Okay, you guys have a dynasty. Okay, cool. Let's see if another team can catch up. And obviously, Detroit did it last night. Hopefully, we do it with the Dodgers, and we can present America. How great would it be Detroit and San Diego in the finals, or even Detroit and the Brewers, who the Brewers have not even won a championship yet, right? So,
yeah,
what if San Diego and the Brewers go to the series, right? There has to be a winner.
yeah. And that was my other thing. I mean, there's all sorts of people that like, yeah, I would love to have teams that at least hadn't been there in a while,
Yeah.
like Detroit, like San Diego, like the Brewers. I can't remember the last time they were in there. I mean, Kansas City won it a while back, but they've been struggling a little bit. So seeing them back in there would be pretty cool. So all sorts of variables, and I'm just thinking, you know, I I haven't said it before now because I'm like, I don't want to jinx it. But for me, on a personal level, having them win and then literally, because they're inducing my wife right after Christmas, literally those happening so close together, I'm like, ah,
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking, right? I mean, that's why baseball and wrestling, man, they stir up your emotions so much, man. But it's great. Like if you're not, emotionally invested in your sports team or a sports league that you watch or professional wrestling, I mean, then honestly, I don't think you're gonna get anything out of it.
yeah, oh yeah. And hell, I don't know if I told you about this, but shortly after everything happened with my girls, my wife, like I had the car wreck and everything, and it coincidentally, I don't think it was planned this way, but I ended up being in the ER horror story there for like 8 hours.
Oh man.
But we we were going to go. My wife said we were going to brunch at this place we've been to a handful of times, so it was a plausible thing. Well, she's driving, we're on the road, and we don't take the exit that we would for that. And I'm like, what's going on? Well, she said, look in the glove box. There was a Padres shirt in there.
Nice.
And she told me they're playing the Royals today in Kansas City. We're going. I'm like, oh.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's the best surprise ever.
And then she wouldn't tell me where we were sitting. So, like, we're walking towards our seat, and we're walking down, and we're getting closer and closer. And then she turns in, and I'm like, the first thing I said when she turned into the row, I'm like, holy shit. We were like maybe 10 rows from the field.
Awesome. Awesome.
To get to see my team play for the first time since I left,
Yeah.
that was something. I loved it.
I bet, man. I bet. Yeah, yeah. Especially, yeah, I mean, you're way out there, you haven't seen them in a while, so that's an awesome surprise. That was awesome of her.
Oh yeah. Now we got a couple things that you were wanting to come on here to kind of promote here. Now, you've shared on social media about your website where you got, where people can get all sorts of merch and stuff, and even, an area to help, friends of yours. What
Right.
all is available on this for those that might not have checked that out yet?
Yeah, so I've always been back and forth on like doing a website and stuff like that to sell, basically just to keep in contact with everybody, since I haven't been on the scene in a while. But I was always hesitant, Mo. I was like, no, it's just too much work. I don't know if I want to do it. And then to tell you the truth, some of it I got lazy, and I was like, no. But then finally, my wife, Casey, she was like, you know what, we need to get your name out there. We really need to keep your name in people's minds. It's we have another challenge. You're not working, so they're not seeing you like they used to see you on a regularly basis. So we need to come up with something. And sure enough, she's actually the one that came up with the idea to do the website, and she got behind it. She formatted everything. And I honestly, Mo, I didn't do anything, other than just post for pictures. It was really, my wife is the one that took care of everything. And, she's great when it comes to the IT stuff and stuff like that. So, but yeah, as far as the website, I mean, you can buy shirts. We have shirts, we have hats, stickers, promo pictures. We're still working on the website. Like I told you, in our conversations a couple of weeks ago, I'd like to link your podcast onto it. I have to link. Yeah. So I got to link to you, and then link SoCal Pro School. So I mean, I'm still working on it, but for the meantime, the site is up. The link, unfortunately, I don't have it memorized in my head, but the link is on my IG profile. You can just click it, and it'll send you there.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll get that in the description when we get there. But you know what? It is kind of a clever way when, you're not able to be out there like you were, to kind of have a little extra way to, keep everybody informed of everything and, help, SoCal Pro out with, pointing people towards there. And man, again, I appreciate putting the link for me in there because I mean, yeah, I'm still basically going off of word of mouth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like how we were talking, before we got on. I mean, you're reaching the 300 milestone, and like I told you, I remember when you hit me up when this whole thing was just a concept. And I remember you asking me, hey, should I do this? Should I not do this? And, we both agreed, no, do it. And look at you now, man. Instead of you calling people, they're calling you. And like I told you, man, I'm extremely, extremely proud of you, Mo, and the hard work that you've been putting in. And, I brag about you out here all the time, all the time.
That means so much, man. That means so much. Like, seriously, that means a ton because, I've told lots of people, I can be my own worst critic. Like, hell, my commentary debut, I'll tell everybody, yeah, I probably started off a little shaky, but once I got in my rhythm and I got past that holy crap, this is actually happening phase, I felt like I did all right.
Yeah. Well, it's the trial and error, right? I mean, you're not gonna know if you're good at it until you go and try it, and then,
Mm-hmm.
and good. And fortunately for you, you found your niche at announcing, and hopefully you can go back and hopefully that can become another job of yours out there. That would
Oh
be
yeah,
great, you know.
we
Um,
already have a show the day before Veterans Day, actually. So
okay.
that's going to be fun. The card hasn't been fully announced yet, but it's looking like it's going to be a fun one.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it will. I mean, I'm sure it will. You guys, you're surrounded by a lot of great companies out there, and hopefully once I get back and once I get rolling here, I'd like to make it out that way, and definitely, obviously, go and visit you and see your family. But at the same time, you got to show me around when I get out there.
Oh yeah, no, but that we can make happen. Now, okay, the first Hermanos Contra Cancer show, man, I gotta say, to this day, humbled and like appreciative of you including honoring my girls in there, because that was like very shortly after everything happened with them, and I think I was still actually in my phase where I had my bereavement leave, and I don't think unless I had to, I didn't even leave the house.
Right.
So seeing that, and then some other people, it was like that meant a ton. And it's looking like we're talking about you were hoping, getting another one organized.
Yeah, so I mean, I have been thinking, been tossing the idea around of doing another Hermanos contra Cancer show. I just, right now it's still early in the thinking process.
Oh yeah.
So let me just rewind a little bit just so I can catch everybody up.
Oh
So
yeah.
2021, I got diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. Took me out of the game for about a year and a half. After that, I was able to beat it. I had really good doctors that helped me out. I was cancer free, for maybe 6 months or so, right, Mo? Something like that.
Mm-hmm. It's something
And,
around that.
yeah, and then unfortunately, the cancer decided it wanted a rematch. So right now, I'm still, I'm in the last ending battles of the rematch. I've done since 2021. I think I've done 24 or 25 chemotherapy sessions. So it's taking a toll on my body,
I
definitely.
can imagine
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. So, but other than that, even with all of that going on, definitely the Hermanos contra Cancer show that we did the first time around, the whole reasoning behind that show was obviously to, celebrate the life of people that we lost from that horrible disease, and then also celebrate, the achievements of the medicine and the breakthroughs that the cancer research has been doing. I was able to hook up with colon cancer foundation, and they helped me out to promote the show and their website and stuff, and I was able to make really good connections with them. So definitely thinking of doing another Hermanos contra Cancer show. Probably won't be this year though. I'm thinking
Mhm.
maybe sometime in 2025. Just I don't want to rush anything. I really
Oh
want this
yeah.
thing to be nice and perfect for the audience that's going to participate.
Oh yeah. No, that's any wrestling show, especially for one for a good cause like that, not something you really want to rush. You want to make sure everything, like, yeah, unplanned stuff happens, but as close to what you imagined and air quotes perfect as you can make it.
Right, right. And in the first show, I mean, I got to give thanks to the entire roster because
Oh, it was a good one.
nobody nobody wanted to get paid that night. Everybody was there because they felt either they were affected by cancer or a family member was affected by cancer. So every single worker that you saw on that show donated their time, and for that I have no words, and I am forever going to be grateful for the for that group that helped me out to pull that off.
Oh yeah, and you had one hell of a group there. What was it? Thrash and
Right. So we had Thrash, Tommy Wilson were doing the
Tommy Wilson. That was
commentary,
the
which
one that was
was an
escaping me.
amazing commentary team. If you
Oh, they did
get a
amazing.
chance to check out the show, check out the commentary team. Just them alone will get you going.
Oh yeah, no, those two. You know what? I'm wanting to say I had them both on at one point after the show, and I'm like, man, the two of them had me rolling from the first damn little bit, like
Yeah.
through the whole rest of the show. It was just something else.
Oh yeah, man. And you know, and Thrash is that's something that Thrash has always wanted to do. You know, he's always wanted to do commentary and stuff like that. So, you know, I was like, well, hey, why not? Just let's do commentary on the cancer show.
Oh
And
yeah,
sure enough, he did, and it worked out great. You know, but yeah, you know, we had a lot of talent. You know, Jason Redondo, we had a you know the Rumble, the
oh
cancer,
yeah.
the Rumble, and you know the winner was the Radiant one, Jason Redondo, which was fitting. You know, he has you know his family has gone through cancer and stuff, so he knows exactly you know the routine. So no, it was just great to have that atmosphere. It was just a really welcoming atmosphere that night, Mo. You know, and obviously, yeah, I you know, me and you were so close, and you know, if it only felt right to honor your daughters on that show, you know, and until this day, I mean, you know, that show, I get a lot of people that ask me about the show and how it went, and a lot of people are asking me about your daughters and stuff. So you just know that they're loved, you guys are loved, and you know, obviously San Diego, like you said, is your second home.
That means a lot because like I'm trying not to get choked up here because like my my mother had at one point because this reminds me of hearing about what you had just mentioned. She had some grandmother granddaughter day, grandkid day with the troop, and there's this one on the interstate. There's this big chapel with this big glass thing that overlooks the interstate, and she took them up there, and they were asking about the candles in the church and what they were for. And without being prompted, they asked if they could go light one for my girls, and I was just like,
Yeah,
okay, I need a break.
yeah.
And
Well, I
I
mean,
told I
you
told
know, well,
each of my siblings that, man, you let them know Uncle Grant cried happy tears that they were thinking about my girls like that.
well, you know what, Mo? That I mean, that just goes and that reflects on you. You know, I mean, that just goes to show you what kind of person that you are. You know, everybody loves you, Mo. Like we're all rooting for you. You guys aren't alone. I mean, you're far away from us, but you're not alone. You know, you always got family down here.
Oh yeah, nope. I've definitely been reminded of that, especially with some of the big wrestling shows that have gone on down that way. And people are like, man, you should come. All you got to do is worry about the plane ticket and all that. I'm like, oh, you're making a tempting offer right now.
Right? And how cool is that, bro? Right? I mean, we live, we participate in a sport that brings people together, right? Because honestly, let's talk truthfully here, Mo. If me and you met down the street, we probably wouldn't even say hi to each other, correct? But
Yeah, because I
right?
mean, if it weren't for wrestling, we wouldn't even have. There wouldn't be that connection there, so we wouldn't
Exactly,
even.
exactly. And you know, and one of the questions that I get asked a lot by a lot of fans is how come you never made it to the big leagues, right? Or how come you're still wrestling in the independent scene? But the thing is, like, if you want to go there, you're gonna go there, you know? I never chose to be in the WWE or for whatever you want to call it now, you know. My whole
Yeah.
goal was just to see if I could do this. You know, that was my entire goal. And now, yeah, I may not be a household name out nationwide, but everything that I received from wrestling, friendships, camaraderie, I mean, that's gonna be for me with me the rest of my life, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like, and that's what's awesome about wrestling. It's like all the friends that you make and everybody that just like they don't know you. They're strangers, but like they root for you and they want you to succeed, you know?
Oh yeah.
And not, that doesn't happen in a lot of businesses, you know?
That is true. It definitely, it's one of those unique businesses where, like, okay, with the like the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, you could grow up watching somebody play, like, you know, favorite of both of ours, Tony Gwynn. You might get to meet him, but the odds of you making it to the show and you actually getting to play against them, odds are pretty much against that. You might get to the show, but getting to share a locker room or play against them, probably not. They'll probably retire before you get there.
Right,
But
right. Yeah,
wrestling has that unique part where, yeah, you could watch somebody growing up, and if you decide to get into the business, the chances of you getting to share a ring or a locker room with said person that you watched growing up,
yeah.
the odds are it could very well happen.
Correct. No, yeah, it very well much. I mean, not, I don't want to sound egotistical or anything, but I mean, take a look at my career.
Mm.
I've been blessed with wrestling huge, huge names from, here in the States, from Mexico. So, I mean, that just goes to show you that you don't have to make it to the big leagues to get that dream match of yours. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like one of my matches that sticks out to me and that I'm never gonna forget. Actually, two of them is the match that I had with Super Crazy for SoCal Pro,
Oh
and then
yeah.
the match that I had against Chavo Guerrero for the West Coast Wrestling Company. Those are two local companies, but man, that's something that I'm never gonna forget. Like I was in the ring with two of my favorite people in the world.
Oh yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, that might not have been a singles match, but you were also in there, I mean, for SoCal Pro again, but Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. So yeah, and that was another guy. We were it was a tag match. So it was myself and Rocky Romero against Little Cholo and Rey Mysterio,
Mm.
which I mean the match was amazing, awesome match again. And that's another worker who I grew up watching and idolized. Obviously being from San Diego, Rey Mysterio is
Yeah.
the king of San Diego.
Oh yeah.
He's the guy everybody's watching here. So, to step into the ring with him, and not only to step into the ring with him, but to step into the ring in my home promotion and presenting that match to my home crowd, like that to me is
Mm.
equivalent to wrestling in the WWE. It was an amazing night,
Oh
and
yeah.
hopefully my peers in the scene here, have that same feeling when they get to wrestle somebody big.
Oh, I know I get that. Hell, I had that feeling with commentary when, I got a call a match for Cheeseburger, which we discussed. I'm actually going to be recording with him, and it's like, holy crap, my debut, and I am calling a match for a guy that has been in some of the most famous arenas in the entire freaking world.
Yeah.
This is wild.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like we were talking earlier. Yeah, Cheeseburger is actually one of the guys that I would love to wrestle one day. I mean, I don't know where. I would probably have to leave San Diego and find him, but hopefully when I get back, I can do something like that. But yeah, no, he's an amazing talent. All those ROH guys. ROH to me, ROH is probably one of the best companies out there. I mean, I wish I could have hooked up with them early in my career. I probably would have made a difference in my career, but I don't regret anything that I've done. I love my career. I love the way that it ended. It's going that it ended up. Well, I can't say ended up because I'm hoping to return, but
Yeah.
I love every opportunity, everything that this amazing, beautiful sport has given me, man.
Oh yeah, it's definitely been one that I've been blessed with, and hell, I've mentioned about having people from Ring of Honor on.
Yeah.
Cheeseburger I'm gonna have on, hell, the guy that used to own the damn company, Kerry Silkin, that one still was like, holy shit. Um, the the one that and I'm proud of it because it got me recognition from somebody I never would have thought of would be seeing anything about my show. But I had the former 6-man tag champ Dutch on,
Oh,
not realizing at the time when I made posts about the recording and stuff that he was friends with the late Bray Wyatt.
oh, nice.
And I found that out after I was on my way home. And all of a sudden, I see a Twitter alert. I didn't recognize the little picture thing in there. So I was like, okay, I get to a stoplight. I'll check it. I about dropped my phone. It was him. It was Bray Wyatt liking my episode with Dutch.
So awesome, man. That's so
I
awesome.
literally immediately messaged Dutch back, and I'm like, "Are you friends with Bray Wyatt?" And he told me the whole thing. I'm like, that explains so much right now.
And how cool is that, right? I mean, that feeling, right? When you found that out, it's like that's what professional wrestling is all about, you know? I mean, yeah, obviously there's a lot of hate and a lot of jib jabs back and forth between workers, promoters, fan, whatever.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, I mean, this is the greatest sport in the world.
Oh
It
yeah.
is.
Nothing like it. There is nothing like. I mean, hell, watching it on TV is one thing, just like a lot of sports out there. But being there live, there's something else. There's just something else about it that
Yeah.
I can't really describe unless I'm like literally taking somebody to a show and like watch.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, and with that being said, if I can just add something real quick here, Mo, was like, you know, not taking a jab at WWE or AEW or TNA or any of those big companies because we need them. We
Oh yeah.
honestly, you know, but let's not forget about our local independent scene
Mm.
because that's where everybody starts. That's where everybody comes out of.
Mm-hmm.
And believe me, people, anybody listening to this right now, 90% of the time, you're going to have much more fun at an independent show than you would at a big arena show. And the reason being is because independent shows are they're much more family oriented, you know, and they're so much more intimate that you get the chance to meet whatever
Mm-hmm.
superstar or wrestler you're there to see that night, you know?
No.
So people, please do not forget your local independent scene,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. They're there for you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we're like I've told you in the past, Mo, wrestlers are nothing, absolutely nothing without the crowd.
Oh, most definitely. And the thing I love about, independent shows, like, yeah, I love going to like the national TV promotions. Not going to deny that. But there's something about the independent shows where, like, if you want to be front row, you want to be ringside, you're not going to be paying an arm and a leg.
Right.
Some places might be a little more expensive than others, but generally speaking, you're going to be paying more than half less at an independent show to sit that close and get that interaction and actually get kind of included in the show
Yeah.
than you would having to pay multi-$100 to sit that close at a WWE or even AEW show to get that close. And you
Yeah,
might
yeah.
not even be guaranteed that interaction. And you can get to meet some of your fears. Like you see a guy in the ring that you're just like, man, I love to watch that one. You can very well be meeting that guy after the show or intermission, whatever it might be.
Exactly. And you know what? I myself, and this is just me speaking about me. I always made it a crucial point to go out to the crowd after the shows and just chit chat with people. Because you never know what somebody's going through. You know, maybe you just saying hi is gonna change the rest of their day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. That's one thing that, hell, it happened before I went to another show after everything with my girls, but I had tweeted about a GCW show that I was watching, and they actually talked about my tweet on the show because I said their show was a bit of an escape for me during that time period. And I'm like, yeah, it's very much that. You could be having an absolute shit day before going into that show. And then while you're at that show, it's like that's all out the door.
Yeah,
It,
exactly.
it'll still be there for you when you leave, but for that little bit of time that you're at that show, none of that matters.
And you know what? I'll tell you this, Mo. Okay, now I'll bring it through a wrestler's perspective. Okay, when I have a bad day, right, and I get to the venue knowing that I'm going to work that night, as soon as I step into that locker room, it's like the day changes. Like everything bad that happened to me that day, everything, all the bad emotions that I have, like literally, it just goes away. And the happiness, the tranquility, the ecstasy of professional wrestling comes in, and it's like it just changes you, But that's from a wrestler's perspective, at least for me,
Oh
when I
no,
ever
I
have
can
a bad day.
imagine.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just so therapeutic, very therapeutic. I'll tell you this, if I could wrestle right now, man, I would be out there jumping up and down right now.
Oh man, I can only imagine. They always say, you know, when you're having fun, you're not really working. And,
Exactly.
when you're doing something that you truly love, like hell, to be in the professional wrestling business and do what you guys do, the active in ring competitors do and put your body through, you pretty much have to be loving it because
Yeah.
those rings aren't trampolines, as they like to say. I've
Yeah.
taken a few bumps in there, and I was walking funny for like about a week or so after.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unfortunately, this great sport isn't for everybody, and it sucks because there's been occasions where I've had groups of kids that I teach, and sometimes I got to tell them, you know what, maybe this isn't for you, and it hurt. It really breaks my heart telling somebody like that because I wouldn't want to be told that because
Yeah.
I love this business. Um, and sometimes I think about that. I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't have told them that. But then again, I don't want them to go out there and look bad or hurt themselves or hurt another worker. You know what I mean? Like I don't like no, like you got to be safe. So it's just hard sometimes too.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. And I mean, the way my mindset is hearing about that is, I don't know, if I were them, I'd almost rather hear it before I get to that point where I'm hearing from one of the people training me, and not hear it when I'm at a show performing and then all of a sudden the fans just completely crap on you.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, unfortunately, one of the bad things about our business is you only have one chance to make that one good impression, and then
Oh yeah.
after that one impression, that's the way that the people are gonna see you for the rest of your career. Unless obviously you do something spectacular to win them
Yeah.
back over, whatever.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, man, like I'm with you. I rather me tell them in a nice way, in a compassionate way than have them find out, oh man, maybe I made a mistake.
That, and I've discussed it with multiple people, that it's like there's different avenues in wrestling that you're still involved in the show, but that active in-ring competitor side you're
Yeah.
not doing. Like commentary, ring announcing, being a part of production. You're still involved, and you might find your niche there,
Yeah.
but you realize, yeah, that putting my body through all that in the in-ring competitor side of it, yeah, that they were probably right. That probably
Yeah.
wasn't my avenue in here.
Well, I mean, it's a tough business. It's a physically demanding sport. Funny thing. So when I went to my last checkup for the cancer deal and all with the doctor, right? My doctor told me, he's like, oh, so what do you do? And so I had to tell him, well, I participate in professional wrestling. And he flipped. He was like, man, he goes, can I tell you something? I'm like, yeah, sure. What is it, doctor? He's like, do you know that professional wrestlers, their bodies are equivalent to be in a car crash every
Mm,
day? And I never thought about that. I was like, well, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
I think
And
I've heard that somewhere.
yeah. Yeah, and you know what? I've heard that online too, but hearing it from a
It,
doctor, it's
yeah,
like, whoa,
that's something.
wait a minute, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, it's again, professional wrestling, unfortunately, isn't for everybody, But again, you like you mentioned you do have your side gigs you can do, commentary, ring announcing, reffing. I actually have a couple of students that realize that the physical aspect of professional wrestling isn't for them. So they decided to do commentary, be a referee, be a manager, and they're still in the business and still loving it.
Oh yeah, no, hell, there's some people that I can imagine they get in, thinking the active in ring part, but then when they realize not, and then they find that you know manager, ring announcer, whatever it might be, they're like,
Right.
okay, I didn't know that this was going to be this much fun.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes you don't know. It's just like we said earlier. Sometimes you don't know until you go out and try it.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. All right, I have some random questions. I tried to switch it up, but since had you on a few times, some of this, like, I'm pretty sure I got ones that we haven't done yet.
Okay.
And we talked about Ring of Honor, and they also had a working relationship with New Japan.
Right.
I've had people on from both, actually. One of the guys in Bullet Club right now, Clark Connors, had him on a while back. He was actually one of the two episodes right around my 100th episode mark. So that's wild, thinking I'm that far away from that now. But
Yeah, you've been putting in the work, Mo. I'm like I said, I'm very proud of you, man.
oh yeah. So my question here is, with having participating in one of the dojo showcases, and having that little bit of a taste of the New Japan style, who are some of your favorite wrestlers from New Japan?
Well, first of all, I'd have to say definitely Fred Rosser and
Oh yeah.
Kushida, who were both of my coaches when I was at the dojo. Man, those guys are amazing. I never thought that I would be able to get the opportunity to meet Fred Rosser, let alone train under him. You know, the guy's just amazing. The guy's a beast, man. Like he's just I can't say enough about him, honestly. He pushed us every day. He was the fire behind that dojo, that showcase show, and like he is now. They're still continuing, so
Oh
they're
yeah.
still cranking out showcase shows, and the dojo's still out there. Um, but yeah, man, like those two for sure. I was able to. I've met Shane Haste in the past, and we've become I wouldn't say friends, but more acquaintances. But we know of each other, so he's another great guy that's on there. I've never had the pleasure of meeting Mikey Nichols, Shane's partner,
Mm.
right on TMDK, but I've always admired him and in his work ethic. He seems like he just goes. Like there's no stopping that kid, or that dude. I should
Mhm.
say, not kid. Um, but definitely, yeah. One of the regrets um that I wish I could have met was actually Inoki himself, you
Mm.
know. But unfortunately, I never got the opportunity to meet the legend, and he had passed before I went into the dojo. But but his spirit is much alive, like you could feel that energy in there, Um, but I would have to say that probably my two favorite would be Fred and Kushida, just because I spent time with them and I was under their learning tree and all the stuff that they taught me. It was amazing, it was amazing. And not only that, but like the peers that I was with at the dojo. I mean, we made pretty, like, I hope, lifelong connections, and right now everybody's out there tearing it up. Zane J just got back from Japan doing the dojo out there, so I'm glad that he's got a bright future with New Japan. Viva Van right now is tearing it up because of I'd like to say New Japan was that training that she did is helping her out. So another one, Jessica Rodden again is tearing us up the scene. Jake Painter, like, so all of these
Jake
guys,
Painter, yeah.
yeah, all these guys, Sean Vegan, Seabass out there from New England area. So all these kids that I hooked up with at the dojo, man, like it was just an amazing experience. And but to answer your question, Mo, yeah, definitely Fred Rosser and Kushida, man.
Oh yeah, hell. You bringing up Kushida? I actually met him at Revolver. Another
Oh, such a
Revolver.
nice guy. Yeah, such a nice guy,
Oh, totally. One of my signed figures actually.
Yeah.
Get it without knocking it down. Boom.
Yeah, man, such a cool guy. Like, when the first day of training at the dojo, when I walked in and I saw both of them there, it was just so intimidating. It was like, man, these guys are legit. So what am I in store for? And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was nervous. I was a nervous wreck the first day, but then literally 30 minutes into the workout, they just made you feel at home. you know
That's
like you felt like you were in an ordinary gym. Like, it doesn't matter if it was New Japan or WWE or TNA, it doesn't matter. Like, just the atmosphere that those two teachers brought out was amazing, man. Like,
oh yeah.
I cherish that moment, that training that I got from them.
That's awesome. I know, we talked a little bit about, having that one chance to make a first impression. Well, I guess, three of the people that I would consider favorites that, well, unfortunately, one has since had to retire, but two of them I actually met when my podcast was involved at a fan fest for Warrior Wrestling, now Pro Wrestling Ventures. But Alex Coughlin and Uemura had a match that night, and when they first came in before the fan fest opened, it didn't matter who you were, podcaster, merch seller, one of the guys, they were some of the first to go around and literally shake every single person's hand. And man, that to this day stuck in my head. And then,
Yeah.
Seeing some of the stuff that Uemura has been able to do since. And then the other first impression I had with New Japan that I love telling this because the guy is still one of my favorites to this day, Tomohiro Ishii. Like,
Yeah.
I remember the first match of his I saw, I believe it was a Wrestle Kingdom show. And, here in the States, when somebody throws a headbutt, yeah, they make it look real. I mean, we all know parts predetermined and all that. But you don't hear like that smack.
Right.
With him in that match, you literally heard the bone on bone. And I'm just like, I didn't have a headache before, but I got one now.
Yeah. I mean, the new Japan in general, man. All those workers out there, man. They're tough, man. There's some tough dudes out there.
Oh yeah.
It's just so crazy. Yeah. You know, I during my dojo time, I like to think that I got two educations because I got education from Fred, and he showed me the whole WWE platform, what they look for, and all that stuff. But then Kushida was giving us the whole New Japan spit, so it was like learning both aspects of the professional wrestling world at that point, So, and I'll tell you this though, they're both tough.
Oh
Fred
yeah.
and Kushida are both tough, you know. But when it came down to like the measurement of both styles, Yeah, Kushida was a little bit more tough than Fred, just because that's the aspect of the Japanese style, though, you know.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's something awesome that I really recommend every single worker in the nation to try to adapt, you know, like or try to involve it somehow in your craft, because man, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Oh yeah. Those people that have that knowledge of a mix of different styles, it's much like adapting your in-ring persona. Like
Yeah.
knowing when to change little bits of stuff up gives you that longevity. I mean, look at hell, Undertaker, Jericho. There's those are the two examples that pop into my head that had those, maybe not like a complete overhaul, but they had those, like they changed just enough to where you're like, okay, this isn't completely the same person.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it gave them that little extra longevity. I mean, Jericho's still going. Look at the run Undertaker had. It
Yeah.
long runs.
Yeah. And I mean, and that goes to show you that you can change your gimmick, but as long as your style, I believe, is the same, you know, I think you'll go far. You know, I mean, obviously you can change up your move set and stuff like that, you know, as time progresses. But you know, at the same time, though, it's just like if you adapt that Japanese style into your repertoire, I think a lot of people will open their eyes to you. You know, and
Oh,
the funny thing is, Mo, the funny thing was like Japanese training is a lot like lucha libre training. You know, there's a lot of tumbling, a lot of stiff shots. So, you know, that's one advantage I think I had when I participated at the
mm.
dojo, because I was already put through all of that hellhole lucha libre training. It made it a little easier for me.
No, I can imagine. Well, going off of the training, you being involved in training a new crop of talent, who, and it can be tough to choose one, but who are like a couple of people that, might not, they might have graduated already, but, you were involved in training them. Who are like two or three that you particularly want to put some shine on that you think are going to have like a bright future?
Oh man, well, I mean, I've been blessed enough to be teaching for a while, and I've had a lot of good kids come my way. You know, one that definitely stands out is Jordan Cruz out here.
Mm.
You know, Jordan Cruz is tearing up the scene out here right now. You know, I remember when he started and he had the passion, and you could just tell, you know, like you could tell when a new student arrives, you could tell in their eyes how dedicated they're going to be. And Jordan Cruz by far was one of the best, you know, students that I've ever had, you know. So he definitely stands out. Another one was Danny Limelight, you know,
Mm.
another guy that stands out, and he's done you know, a lot of great stuff in this sport in the small amount of time that he's been involved in it, you know.
Oh yeah.
But you know, he was another kid when I first saw him go into a SoCal Pro training facility, you know, but he had the heart, and again, he had that fire in the eyes, you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so those two definitely stand out. You know, there's been a couple of students that I think uh could have made it all the way, but unfortunately for personal reasons they stopped. One is definitely Mike Camden out here.
Mm.
You know, Camden was and it still is a beast, you know,
Oh
and
yeah.
you know, unfortunately, he had to take some time off for personal reasons. But you know, if he ever comes back, I'm pretty sure he's just gonna pick up right where
Oh,
he left off.
oh yeah. No, P was definitely one of those that I definitely enjoyed paying as much attention to him as I could because,
Right.
yeah, talk
Yeah.
about a physique for wrestling. That guy. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've been, we talked a little bit about, Japan, Mexico. Those can, well, as far as Mexico, I mean, yeah, not as far a travel, but like over to Japan,
Mhm.
how do you like to pass your time on the plane?
Oh man. Well, I think a 14-hour flight, I believe, something like that. Um, the first time I went out there, I unfortunately was in business class, so there wasn't a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
leg room. But you know what literally what got me through the flight was uh thinking of the matches that I was gonna have out there,
Mm,
and the people that I was gonna interact with. And one of the obviously one of the first things I was that popped into my head was, how am I gonna communicate
mm,
with the workers out there, but the funny thing happened. My first tour out there, I wrestled two workers who wore masks, and all they wanted to do was work lucha libre style.
mm.
So I got very lucky that they were actually knew the terminology of the lucha moves and stuff, so we were able to work everything out. But I got to give credit where credit is due. Um, I wouldn't have been as successful in Japan if it wasn't for Dragon Yuki. He's been a good friend of mine for many, many years, and he's the one that actually helped me get the bookings out there, and he was literally my guide out there. So, I got to give him credit. Dragon Yuki, if you're watching, I hope you are. Thank you so much for that opportunity. That's something that I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life.
Definitely. And having had that experience outside the country, is there, and for somebody that's had quite the career that you have, is there anywhere outside of the country that you haven't been to yet to perform that you would like to before you hang up the boots?
Actually, yes, I don't know if this company is still around anymore, and I've actually lost track of them, but there was a certain company, and I'm sorry, I forgot the name of it, but there was a company out in Spain that did a lot of lucha libre shows, but they it was more it was kind of like lucha vavoom here in
Mm,
California. So it was a big elaborate show. They didn't do the whole burlesque thing like Lucha Boom does, but it was kind of similar to that. And that promotion, just for some reason, when I saw footage of that, I was just like, I gotta go there. Like that just to me that looked like an amazing. So that would probably be the my last spot that I would love to travel to would be to go and work in Spain.
that would be something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I know a good friend of mine, Ricardo Rodriguez, I think has
mm.
been out there, and he keeps telling me, yeah, man, it's amazing. The atmosphere is great out there, and everybody's just so humble and nice, and so it's definitely on my bucket list.
Oh yeah, that was one thing in a lot of the places out of the country that I've been to. I mean, obviously not in wrestling at the time, but you'd hear about hell, the whole thing about oh, lots of places don't like America, but it's like almost everywhere I went to, it's like they loved trying to show off their country. You know,
Yeah,
they like to hear stories from you, and they like to trade their own about their country just as much.
yeah. And you know what? The cool thing, maybe that happens in politics, but when it comes to professional wrestling and you traveling to other countries, man, it's just there's no wrong. Like everybody treats you with so much respect, and it doesn't matter if you're from the States, like they don't care. They just, as long as you're a professional wrestler or in professional wrestling in some capacity, it's like they overlook all of that stuff. So that's another reason why this is an amazing sport.
Oh yeah, it has that ability of bringing everybody together, like we said. All
Yeah.
right, now to kind of round stuff off here, the floor is yours. What
Okay.
a
Well,
message you got for everybody to round off the episode.
right. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everybody that keeps reaching out. I still get a lot of emails. I get a lot of direct messages on Instagram, Facebook now. So thank you guys. Thank you. It means so much to me that I've put in close to 24 years of work in professional wrestling that you guys still think about me. So I honestly, the bottom of my heart, whoever's listening, thank you guys. Thank you for the messages. They're helping out. They're keeping me mentally positive, going through chemotherapy still. I honestly, I just really want to just say thank you to everybody.
No, most definitely. Thank you, everybody. And, hell, from me to you, thank you again for taking the time to talk to me tonight. Thank you for the years of friendship that I've had with you. It's always been a pleasure. Always a pleasure having you on. And hell, again, you're always welcome back anytime.
Thank you, thank you. And again, if I can just reiterate what I said earlier, please, people, please, if you can, if you have the will, you have the chance, if you see a local company out there hustling in your area, check it out.
Oh,
I
most
guarantee you, you will not be disappointed.
yes. And, we'll obviously have the link to the website on,
Yes.
in the description. But as far as, other social media, where can people find you? So if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can watch what I am certain will be one hell of a comeback when you get that time.
Yeah, I hope so. But for the meantime, you guys can always reach me on IG, SC Crazy. You can reach me now on Facebook, and I'm actually under the name of Diego Lee, San Diego and Bruce Lee, two of my favorite things in the world. Um, so you can reach me there. Other than that, I hold training at SoCal Pro every Tuesday night. So if you're in my area and you always wanted to come check this out, see if you could do this, I welcome you. I invite you. Please, no fear. At your own pace, come check it out. Maybe this is for you, you know. But other than that, Mo, I treasure our friendship. Like I told you, I remember when this whole podcast was just a concept in your mind, and look at you now, man. It's amazing. And like I said, I brag about you out here all the time, and you're always gonna be family, Mo.
That means more than I can say. Well, I just heard my dog upstairs rumbling around, so I probably better go check on him, make sure he's not making a mess up there. He's a full-grown English bulldog, so he's a bit
Oh,
of a tank.
yeah,
Well,
you might want to go check that out.
yeah. So that is about all I have. Again, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you, guys.
look forward to, as always, you and I keeping in touch. And, hell, I'm keeping an eye on that damn comeback. I am looking
Yes,
forward.
I will. I guarantee that as soon as the doctors give me the green light, I will definitely jump back on this podcast and give everybody dates.
Oh, yeah. I look forward to it. All right. All right. No, I told you the thing about the